His picture is just a straight up chicken, bro. Here we go. This is it.
I'm quite heartbroken to share with you that we were officially banned last night of July 1st.
Damn, last night was when it's official? I thought it was a long time ago.
As of this Instagram post right here.
Oh, yeah, they dropped the freaking announcement.
The Mlbb Esports official channel. As you can tell, MSC committee is important updates that they are banned, outlined in the MSC penalty index section 2.
Damn.
And I will go this really quick. This is the section index they're talking about.
Imagine against PC Jing.
Holy
shit.
Competitor game events, activity, live stream, or other way to give competitor game exposure. The competitors' games are defined as mobile games. And,
but they didn't. Did they get the warning? Did they get the warning here at all? They just jumped right to half-year suspension. This is like a tiering punishment system, right?
I'm sure you can see.
Yeah, what up, guys, on the short stream? Welcome in.
Violator, permanent suspension. I'm not really going to argue about whether they issued, the proper amount of warnings and whatnot to do this. But here's the rule. Regardless, this still falls into the previous arguments that they don't really fall into the same time frame. But anywho, that's the official post right here. And right after I saw this, I decided to post the video for the maximum impact reach, right away, before making a more in-depth video explaining everything that happened, because there were quite a few developments that happened between June 27th to now. And for those of you who want to,
I think I'm getting a bit of echo, right? Let me go ahead and do
I'll
this.
give you the time frame on the screen. Anywho, as someone who's already committed 2 weeks of their life,
they never had an exclusivity contract. That's the thing. They were never exclusive to MLBB.
This video again are wondering why
it's just MLBB's rules are if you're in our tournament. MLBB's rules are if you're in our tournament, you can't play anything else, which is kind of fucked up, low key. So I'll completely understand if they were like, yo, Fried Chicken, Hoon, Zane, I'm giving y'all $2K a month, okay? Don't play any other games. Then if they break it, cool. But they're not paying them, they're not anything. They just qualified for a upcoming tournament. That's it. They qualified,
The last video was made.
And because of that, they can't play any other games, If it's their rule, whatever, but is it a cool rule? I don't think so.
That happened until July 21st, or it's July 1st. And even at one point during that time, we really thought that we were going to play. And I'll also let some of my teammates share some of their thoughts as well. And everything in the video will be timestamped. You can scroll through the timestamps to whatever you want to inquire.
Chronological Yo, this is a long video, man.
From the very beginning again, I'm going to
y'all want to watch the whole video? This is a pretty long video.
June 25th till now, and when this all started. If you already watched my video again, go skip the timestamp. Starting off, the HO campaign was previously planned before MSC, and when they planned it, they made sure that there were no rules being obstructed in the MSC or NACT rulebook that could potentially cause harm in doing the campaign. Had knowing these rules,
guys, download HOK.
Anyway, I'm sure every party involved would have done things differently. June 25th comes around, and the HOK campaign is publicly announced. As soon as it was announced, MoonCon sent us an official warning that we'd be banned from participating in EWC if we were to proceed with the campaign.
So, Moontoon sent a warning on June 25th. The campaign was scheduled to be June 28th, so they gave 2-3 days ahead of time. But already Zane and Hoon are already in the game. When you log into the game, you see their faces. They're integrated into the patch already, at that point, it's really hard to back out. It is really hard to back out.
Zane, Dave, his team, and us playing were all very confused. In the first paragraph of the rulebook, it states right here, first paragraph of the rulebook, it states this. Instruction purpose, these official rules will Legends Bang Bang Season Cup apply to each of the teams who qualify to play in the MSC.
Yeah, so we read this yesterday. The rules do apply to them. We just don't know if they got this the time they got this rule book. But the thing is, these rules are predatory at the end of the day. Just because it's dude, let's say McDonald's tomorrow made a freaking rule that says, if you want to come in and buy burgers from us, you have to freaking twerk naked, bro. People are still going to walk in there trying to buy burgers, And I guess you're allowed to set a stupid rule like that, but we shouldn't, we should call that out. We should call out a stupid rule, right? Like, I think the rule's kind of bad.
See, July 10th to 25th, August 2nd, in 2025.
Don't twerk naked for a Big Mac, Shingo.
And-
Don't do it.
You know,
Hey guys, I want to quickly interject here and add a point after the fact. What you're watching right now is a live reaction, and in the actual reaction, Fried Chicken didn't actually bring up this point, so I never really thought about it. I recently watched Dave's video here, and he had a much more of an analytical approach to it, and I thought it made a lot of sense, so I want to add this in here too. Nothing about the rulebook defines a set time, and if there's no set time defined, and you see 2 dates, you know, it's gonna be assumed, you know, that those are the dates the rules are going to be in effect. You can't just assume the rules are going to be done indefinitely, right? Which is a great point that Dave argued in his video, which I think makes a lot of sense. And I think that any contract that does not have a defined time length, it didn't say the second you qualify XYZ date until XYZ date. It just kind of says teams that qualify. Technically, the way it's written, if you're a team that has qualified for the MSC tournament, right? Even if it's 10 years ago, you still qualify. Do the rules still apply to you? It's really unclear, and the way it's written, I think, is extremely poor, and that's what led to all this confusion. And it also says here, right under the part that Fried Chicken's talking about now, that these rules only apply to the MSC tournament, which has not started yet. So if they don't define a time length, you know, for qualified teams, technically, if you qualified once, you qualified your whole life, right? That doesn't make sense for the rules to be in effect indefinitely, though. So I think that's a really great point that was not brought up here by Fried Chicken's video here. That was brought up in Dave's video. So after this, make sure to check out Dave's video and see that perspective.
applies to like every single team period.
Might be work, bro.
Overall that have qualified. But you know, I really think that's like you're thinking it's not really.
It's not that clear, though. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? I don't know if English is his first language or whatever. If English is not your first language or whatever, or you're not like, you don't read the legal jargon or like really official text very often, you could have easily perceived this as rules start July 10th to August 2nd. Easily, you know? But the way it's written, like officially, technically, the rules are in effect. All right, but that doesn't mean like the rules are good though. They're still shitty rules.
Like the transparency of this rule is so stupid. Like it's not a very transparent rule at all. Even if you use that argument, like I would think a general interpretation of this rule would be, hey,
it's possible to get confused. The way it's written, it's possible to confuse.
Qualify to play in the MSC from July 10th to August 2nd, 2025. Like at first look, you would think that okay, this is going to be from that time frame, you know. But
at first look, I agree. But if you actually look at it and read it, it's teams that qualified.
Regardless of how you interpret it,
yeah.
I believe a general people will interpret it as, hey, these rules don't apply until this time frame. Even you know,
I can see why he would think that though. I honestly can see why he would think that.
He talked about like thought of it this way, and yeah, like if like people who are professional think of it that way, and you know, it still gets misinterpreted or confused.
There's no way a lawyer, no, that's cap though. There's no way a lawyer read that and like, there's no way. A common person, me or you, random people in chat, we could probably read it and interpret it. There's no way a lawyer would read this and think it means it's only applied to the 10th to the 2nd here. That's just how
There's
it is.
also the same rulebook in the NACT rulebook, which states the time frame of the season. And I will show you that as well.
Now this might be different here. This might be
receiving public sponsorship from competitive MOBA games during active NACT season from May 9th to May 18th, including Honorofkings and all that whatnot. So
wait, this is only 9 days. Now this is different. If this was all they got before, you know, the way this is written is you know, you are barred from taking sponsorships within these 2 days. So I can see how they would believe that they, you know, cannot take a sponsorship within the prior 2 days, because if this is the last thing they saw, like, okay, you guys can't do anything from X to Z, you know, and then here's a new thing, and then there's like X to Z in it, you know, I can see how they would be confused. I would absolutely be able to see
the
how
time
they
frame
got
still
confused.
doesn't really collide with either of those, and one would think, why not Zayn and Hoon just back out of the campaign? but they had already signed the contract for the campaign a while back.
Yeah, and they're in the game.
Damages that would result.
They're
from
literally in the
contract.
game, man. You know?
Think about it. This is one side is a side contract with stated damages that they cannot disclose due to NDA and obvious reasons.
Oh wow.
And the other side
big ass
is threats
damages
with
if
no
you don't do it,
actual
bro.
basis.
Big ass damages.
Dave had spent lots of money on lawyers to debunk this and see how Moonton could actually do this to us. From everyone but Moonton's standpoint, this all looked like bullshit. The first question was, what rule did we break specifically that would deny us from competing?
Okay.
There is one rule in the MSC rulebook regarding advertisement of competitor games that would not be allowed. The one I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
This one. You know, the penalty rule. But also
It's a bad rule, by the way. It's a really bad rule.
The time exact. The given time frames for NACT are May 5th or May 9th to May 18th. In the MSC rulebook, the exact same time frames are July 10th to August 2nd. The campaign time frame was June 27th to June 28th. Obviously, it doesn't align. It still goes back to the time frame thing. Dave and his legal team refuted this logic, and then Moonton gave us this official reply right here. Now, I will hide my camera because I forgot to in the previous video, but you can go look over it yourself. They said that the
this is the official legal reply, bro.
July 10th
no one
to
really
August
plays
2nd,
Wild Rift,
2025 is a temporal modifier that qualifies the clause have been qualified to play. This being the date, tell us which team the rules apply. And the teams qualified the tournament takes place between July 10th and August 2nd.
So we went over this, yeah.
So the time frame restricts the event, not the applicability of the rules. And like again, it's just really weird how they put that rule. I can see how
it is a bad
if you're
rule.
reaching
It's a
for
really
it, can
bad
interpret
rule.
it that way, but the transparency of it is still in question. And that is ultimately what this boils down to.
This is the only other place that would have space for time frame, but it's not signed nor filled by a team nor any of the players. Dude, it's tough, man. They're in a tough spot. I think technically, like Moonton is technically in the right because they've written such aggressive predatory rules. Now, is that morally and ethically correct? I disagree with. But if you technically write in your contract vague ass shit, like I can ban you whenever I want, and you get banned, technically they're in the right. Technically, they're in the right. You know, they said in their shit they can ban you whenever they want. Is that morally and ethically right? I don't know.
They retain the final interpretation of the rules, and you can say right here, Moonton officially retains the right of final interpretation of these rules as entitled to.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I just mentioned.
And how it's the best interest of the MSC. Basically, anything that's like not that they interpret.
Now, I think that what they did is not in the best interest of the MSC. Okay, anyone looking at this can argue like kicking out and disqualifying one of North America's most popular and strongest teams does not benefit the MSC, and it does not. So Moonton directly shot themselves in the foot, I would say here, you know, out of like pettiness or whatever, you know.
Interpret as conflicting to MSC, they can do whatever they want. And the final interpretation basically means that although the transparency of the rulebook is questionable, since they retain the final rights,
it is very open-ended.
They basically determine what it means. So it like kind of questions the validity of a rulebook if they can just change whatever it means to their own interests or their own. They have that in a lot of contracts. They can just twist how it sounds, whatever, to benefit themselves. So yeah, that's cool. That's fun. Now, again, this is the reply. For a few days between June 25th and 27th, it was actually looking good for us, and that we could actually potentially go to MSC and compete. But there was a discovery that MSC had not actually given the teams the chance to sign the rulebook. Because of this, as players.
Now
this
is different. No, this is a complete. If they set the rulebook, you know, this changes everything. If they sent the rulebook and they just chose to willingly not sign it, that's different. But he's saying they were not given a chance to sign the rulebook. That's completely different then. How are you going to abide by rules you didn't get a chance to look at, right? Like,
we do not have any contractual obligations to Moonton, and vice versa. Everything they do is arbitrary, meaning they have all the power. At this point, Dave,
They do.
all
They
Dave
do.
could do
They do. It
was
sucks,
ask
but they do.
Moonton for potential compromises. Dave even
Yeah.
offered to send a full production team over here to do content and cover boot camp worth of tens of thousands of dollars, all for Moonton's benefit, which would cost them nothing, actually $0. Or
Dude, these companies,
if we could
these big companies, bro, they like throwing their weight around, bro. They do not like compromising. They say it's my way or the highway, bro. All right. Like that compromise from Dave, like Dave, I know the way Dave's thinking about this. Dave's trying to think what is the best for everyone, you know? What will make the players happy? What will make the fans happy? What will make the game happy? So Dave's like, yo, I'm gonna drop bands right now, okay? I'm gonna fly out a production team, you know? We're gonna get the fans content. We're gonna get MLB good promotion, right? You guys want good promotion? You guys want game to be good? Okay. I get you good promotion, and then you know that makes everyone happy. But when you're a big ass company like this, like they don't really care, bro. They don't really care about that, bro. The person that directly is responsible for banning BTK, depending on how good this tournament is, they don't get paid more or less, bro. That clown is getting the same price no matter what, you know? Like BTK plays, BTK doesn't play, you know, NA is outraged, NA is not outraged. He's getting paid the same amount of money. He does not care, you know? So that's why they don't want to compromise. Like, why would I compromise, bro? You know, like, why would I go back on my word? It's like an ego thing, too. Why would I go back on my word? I go back on my word. I still make 100K a year. Okay. I don't go back on my word. I still make 100K a year. I don't think so. No, actually. I'm going to say no to you there, Dave. You know, like, why do we not compromise? Especially with, like, I don't know much about the MLB scene, but everything I've read and heard, everyone is saying BTK has done so much for NA MLBB, you know? The other regions, obviously not, because they're not in other regions. But for NA, every player that plays MLBB in NA knows BTK, you know? And most of them look at BTK favorably, right? But, so they've done so much. They've actually done so much. What about Aqua? But it's, you know, but it looks like Moontoon is not willing to bend a little bit, you know?
Since this issue is not related to the org or the rest of the team. But by the end of June 27th, when I recorded my old video, they told us we were fucked and that we would not go. Now this is all the new information from June 28th onwards.
Yeah,
So
like Zane has like a million subs, bro. Like,
Dave gave us an update in the morning after the depressing night. A lot of
it truly is. It's truly just Moontoon trying to set an example, and they're just power tripping, bro. They're setting example. They're saying like, yo, I don't give a fuck. This is my biggest creator, one of my biggest creators. I'll still ban him. You play another game, okay? Anyone else that wants to play another game, take notice, okay? Zane, whatever, 1.5 million, whatever. I'll still ban him. Don't even think about playing another game, bro. You know, like. They're drawing their line in the sand.
Motions, and that there was a chance again. Somehow. The EWC committee had finally stepped in to help resolve the issue. And after several back and forth discussions the next day, communicating with Tencent, a compromise was proposed. That the streams be taken down after posting. Tencent, who literally made the contract and had
Tencent is, dude, HOK is cool.
Like, right,
you see that? HOK is hella cool, bro.
Had no reason to accept this. But even then, they still compromised out of respect for the players and SAUL. Since Tencent agreed, EWC committee began to discuss and attempt to work out a solution with Moonton.
Dude, look how cool HOK is. Even though HOK literally paid them to stream, they're saying, you know what, just to help y'all clowns out, bro, y'all can remove it afterwards, bro. All right? Like, just to help y'all out. You know, y'all in a bad spot. Like, you know, make up for it later on, you know, whatever. Like, HOK didn't have to do that. HOK could have been like, actually, you signed your contract. I paid you a bag. You better keep that shit up forever. You know? They could have easily did that. But HOK was chill. So, see, that is morally and ethically, like, more than correct, in my opinion. You know? More than correct, morally and ethically. Even if they said, no, you have to keep the stream on, I would say they're in the right, you know? Because they paid for it, you know? If you, I've done a lot of sponsorships before in my career on being YouTube. Whenever you make a sponsor deal or whatever, usually it's in the clause, your video or stream or whatever has to stay live for at least 1 year, you know, just so they don't pull a fast one on you. Some of them are longer, some of them are indefinitely, you know, or until they decide. But HOK is like, after 1 day, cool, whatever, bro. Like, yeah.
There was complete radio silence for 3 days regarding news and updates on the matter. we had actually thought we would be able to play and actually started to scrim. And scrims were actually looking pretty good. We were doing quite well versus MPL teams and qualifying MSC teams, much better than the result of what we had during scrims for M6. And we were only 2 days in with another 3 weeks to practice and improve. We really liked our odds and chances for EWC. Then, to the surprise of everyone involved, Moonton came out with that devastating announcement.
Oh, wow, Freddie. I didn't even know that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. SAL. I feel bad for SAL too, man.
So, once again,
SAUL,
the exact
I
penalty.
feel bad for those guys as well, too. Because they're innocent too, you know? Like,
it is MSC Penalty Index, Section 2. And that is the one right here. Team engages in any competitor game event, live stream, or other way to get competitor game exposure. The MOBA games are defined as mobile game, whatever. And, like, you can interpret it. The first one was a warning. Like, it doesn't even matter. But I literally don't think they gave us, like, the correct, warning.
From my understanding, the warning they gave was like, hey, bro, if you do this shit, you're banned, bro. Like, I thought a warning is like if you have already committed a crime, right? Let's say, you're speeding, right? Who has a car here? Raise your hand, you go 10 over on the highway and the cop gives you a warning. You already committed the crime, like, and then they give you a warning like, all right, man, this first time, pat you on the back, go off on your way. This is different. This is like saying the cop is at your house saying like, hey, if you go 10 over on the highway, I'm gonna shoot you, bro. You didn't even do 10 over yet, bro. They didn't even pop their sanctuary yet, bro. They just get insta-killed.
Complaining about it now is. Moonton essentially wants to hold the NA region to the same standard as any other MPL region. They've had a call with an NA Moonton rep during the time frame that it looked good for our chances of playing, and that the Moonton rep was trying to convince Dave by comparing other regions to MPL, including other MPL regions to NA.
That was a threat. Am I right? That's not a warning. That's a threat, bro.
Qualifier, NACT.
Wait, that's a great comment from Badass here on the short stream. That's not a warning, guys. That's a threat. If you guys do this, we're banning you. That's not a warning. That's literally a threat, dude.
And even last year, when BTK won the qualifier and became sponsored by Cloud9, Moonton almost didn't allow Cloud9 to sponsor BTK because the rules at that time were that you could not change your team name after qualifying to international.
Moonton has something against these guys,
bro.
I don't know
what.
Not
allow the BTK
I really don't know what,
bro.
A
pretty substantial amount of money because of their rules. And to this day, C9 paid the most out of any other org that has ever sponsored NA. So imagine like they were denied that money.
What do they have against these guys? But I actually don't get it, dude.
Throughout this whole ordeal,
I actually don't get it. If I made the game
actually making
Mlbb,
I say this ordeal.
If I made the game Mlbb, I would be like, these guys are good for my game. They give me good promotion. I don't even have to pay them. They stream my game for free. Like, what do they have against them, bro? I know technically they're in the right, so you can't like their argument's gonna be like, oh, we don't have anything against them, bro. It's technically it's in our rules, blah blah blah. But like, if your rules are so vague, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, in-game currency is too funny, bro. It's actually too funny. It's too funny. I feel like Moonton was so harsh because Dave is their manager or agent or whatever, and he's a huge content creator. It's not that Dave is a huge content creator for HOK. Dave is like also a big bridge. Dude, Dave is just a middleman. He'll work with any game, bro. It's not like he hates MLBB. He'll work with any game. If freaking Fortnite comes out of nowhere and goes like, yo, Dave, we need some people, he'll work with it. He's just a middleman. That's what a middleman company does, right? Maybe they took that personal, I don't know, but
the ban.
He's just a middleman.
People actually making the decisions in Moonton higher up would never actually be there for a discussion. All they did was send insignificant interns or lackeys, one after another, to give dead-end replies with
Don't say that. Don't call them lackeys, man.
And the most important thing is, although they have said they warned they warned the team multiple times, the only choice they gave us was like unreasonable. Expecting them to just break contract and suffer penalties to compete in EWC.
Yo, maybe be like, okay, I'll break contract, but you gotta fucking pay for all of it, bro. You gotta pay for all the damages, bro. Maybe they could do something, but I know Moonton would not do that, bro. Moonton's like, nah. Nah. Don't feel like it. Nah. Stream it and you're banned. nah. You know, that's how Moontoon kind of feels.
For some,
I don't even know about
even more
Moontoon. I don't
shocking
play
news
MLBB,
for,
you know?
NA fans.
Mm. Yeah, no shopping
in
gonna be
country
that. No
or
shopping
outside. There is no M7 slot for NA. This was revealed as a potential thing during the
Yeah, we'll
M6
check out Liz
qualifiers,
after this.
and was confirmed as reality prior to the EWC qualifiers. They actually almost completely canceled this EWC for NA, hence the short 3-day tournament. It was literally last minute. We did not know up until like 2 weeks it was like a week or two prior to the actual tournament that we were actually going to have it. We literally thought it was going to get canceled. Moontown does not care about treating us fairly or giving us a chance. It's just pure spite and dropping the NA region entirely at this point. If you don't know, NA is actually one of the highest profit regions for Moontown, and like let me explain.
Yeah, because NA people at NA actually got
NA
money,
does not
bro.
make
You
the
know,
most amount of like money as other regions in sheer revenue, but it makes a lot of profit because Moontown doesn't need to put money into NA or invest at all. At this point, has stopped putting money entirely. We got diamonds as our prize pool. They probably still think that NA will just sell as much skins without supporting the region or the community at all. They don't understand that, like, people are going to leave over this bullying nonsense.
They will. They will.
Now,
a lot of people have been switching.
Yo,
who has switched from MLBB to HOK because of this recent drama? Only because of this recent drama, though. Okay.
Like supporting Moontown, but there are still a minority that.
Who? I saw so many people comment they're switching, bro. You know. I saw so many people comment they're switching.
How the interpretation of the rule could be loosely interpreted.
Yeah, there we go.
But the transparency that...
You know what happens? When you get too big, you get complacent. I think Moontoon really got complacent. Like, they're the biggest mobile MOBA, you know, in NA, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they just, like, they got lazy, got complacent. They're like, oh, I don't need to do anything to make money, so I'm not going to do anything, you know? And that's not a good way to look at it, bro. That's not a good way to look at it. That's like you're in a healthy relationship, you know, and then you start caring about your partner, you know? You stop doing nice things. You stop telling them nice words. You stop telling them you love them, you know? They're gonna fucking leave you, bro. You know? Like, this, when the spark is gone, people are gonna start leaving. The spark is real gone right now, man. The spark is real gone.
It's still questionable. Aside from that reason that I've already covered before.
Yo, what up, Jack? Real talk.
The biggest
real
argument
talk,
I've seen is that why would you advertise a competitor even outside of the rule time frame before an upcoming tournament? And that why
would you advertise a competitor? Because it's your job. Because it's your freaking job, man. I saw so many people that asked that too. It's like, yo, freaking MLBB made you guys. Why would you play something else? Blah, blah, blah. Bro, I'm a YouTuber. I'm kind of creative too. I know you don't be making that much. Like, if you don't take sponsorship deals, whatever, especially in these games that are SEA dominated, like, you get 100,000 views. Realistically, you're only getting paid for 10,000 of it, you know? It's like, sure, maybe you started your life at Google, you know? And Google's where you built up your resume. That doesn't mean you're going to keep working for Google if they don't pay you, right? If Google doesn't pay you, just because that's where you started your career, you know, doesn't mean you're going to stay there making no money. When Apple's here, like, Apple's like, I'll pay you guys to work for me. I'll pay you guys real money, not diamonds, real money. Of course, like, people are going to be loyal, but people are going to be loyal to you, but people are, at the end of the day, going to be loyal to themselves and their family the most, okay? And when it comes to that, hey, money talks, bro, you know? Hoon has bills to pay. Zane has bills to pay, you know? They can't take their girlfriends on date with diamonds. Yo, let's go grab some boba, bro. I just won the NAIC or NACT, bro. They just gave me 50,000 diamonds. Let me buy that shit with something. No, you know, like, people are loyal to themselves and their family at the end of the day, man. If you treat them right, they will be loyal to your game. You know, I'm sure if MLBB actually salaried these guys, even a small amount, bro, like literally like 2.5K, 2K a month, you know, like for them, that's a really small amount. Look at it, Zane has like 1 million subs and everything, right? They would be like, cool, you know what? Cool. You know, at least they're tossing us a bone here, but they're not doing anything for them, you know?
The professional industry would do this. LeBron James would not advertise Adidas whilst partnered with Nike during off-season. Yeah. But this logic is just kind of flawed. Moonton
It
does
is
not
flawed
reward us
because
with
Nike
any money
plays LeBron James, bro.
for our NACT even, or outside of it as influencers. Mobile Legends in NA is a pure passion project, not a financially suitable one. There is quite literally a handful of people, less than 5, that make a livable amount of money in the US from.
This is another thing. You guys, I come from the Unite scene, okay? I know this, okay? Pros make no money, bro. I can tell you the same thing about Pokemon Unite, bro. There's probably less than 10 people that make a full-time living playing Pokemon Unite. Like a proper full-time living, you know? Maybe like 10 is a low amount. Like that's content creation. If you count pros and content creators, there's probably less than like 50 people that can make a full-time living playing Unite, a game that has potentially millions of people playing it, you know? Less than 50 people can make a full-time living probably.
Mobile Legends.
And that's generous. That's actually generous.
The money they make isn't even from Moonton. It is from their own work growing themselves with little to no
it's from their
monetary
own
help from
communities.
Moonton.
Yeah.
And outside of that handful, which is like 5 or less people, nobody makes a livable amount of money. It's a full-time Mlbb in the US.
Dude, these guys can make money because they're popular, not because of MLBB, okay? Because they got popular because of MLBB, because that's the game they play, right? But if they didn't get anything from YouTube, if they didn't get any sponsorships, they would make zero money, bro. Like, dude, you can get like 10 million views a month playing MLBB, but that translates to like nothing because you have a lot of SEA viewers and it doesn't pay.
I'm 100% serious. It is 5 or less people that make money.
I believe him. I fully believe him, by the way.
For like Indo PH are actually good salaries for like the average Indo PH. The biggest MPL regions, by the way, they don't have to be worried, at least in the short term, in terms of salaries. NA players have to take whatever they can get to sustain themselves. They don't like.
They have to pay for their own flights too. I heard that's actually so ridiculous.
Our region was already done with no M7, and I fully believe that Moonton did not care about banning us at all. Since we already have no M7, they might as well just fuck us over with no consequences to themselves. Even Dave was actively looking for investors and sponsors for a community tournament in NA to continue the scene one way or another. Even getting up to a potential 50 grand prize pool for an M7 qualifier tournament. He almost got sponsors to make a biggest prize pool ever for an NACT tournament to qualify, more than Moonton has ever had on his own. But Moonton would not budge regardless, saying that third-party tournaments would not actually qualify to an official Moonton event.
Man, it's like they don't want to try. It's like, dude, it's like they don't want to try for their region. So Dave and them step up. They're like, yo, you know what? We will try for you. And they're like, actually, you're not allowed to try either, bro. Okay?
Moonton is using us as an example for every other staff or player that work in relation to Moonton in any way, shape, or form. They're basically saying that if you go against them in any way, they will punish you severely.
Yep. They're making an example. They're making an example. That's exactly what they're doing.
No wonder several notable organizations, notable figures have left Moonton to pursue other endeavors or competitors. And you will notice key figures will continue to leave. And when you see them leave, you will think about this video and you will know why.
My boy is on some future site right now, bro. He's like, yo, get ready. I got some inside info, bro. Clowns aren't leaving.
A constant in their workplace. The higher positions relentlessly bully the ones below them. This has only been really me talking and everything, and I'll let some of my teammates
he got some inside
share
info,
some
bro.
of their own thoughts and feelings regarding the matter.
Damn.
All right. Hi, this is Hun. I'm here to talk about my experience and opinion about this whole situation. I've noticed that me and Zane, especially, getting a lot of heat and blame about what's going on, and then I just want to say that if I knew this would have been the result, definitely I wouldn't have taken the deal in the first place. And then it was right after NACT that I was.
That shows their scare tactics work, man. You know, their tactics work. Cause look, he just said it. If I'd known they would full kill me, bro, I wouldn't do it, bro. You know, and that's the environment they're trying to foster right there, bro. like an environment out of
to just
fear.
with
You know, like
the sponsorship, which was around in May back in Oklahoma. I heard that there's gonna be a sponsorship deal with HOK, and
yeah,
then
back in May. They're fighting
okay,
about this
because
back in
well,
May, dude.
that's how it usually goes with any sponsorship deal with the agent. When we were actually in the PH, we were gonna go with the sponsorship deal that we planned on a month ago. Then when this was on public, Munton notified us that we're gonna be banned if we proceed with the campaign. And then
I don't know if they got that much.
me and
Sam. I
Zane
don't know if they got
especially,
that much.
when we heard about the news, the initial thought was to back out of the sponsorship deal, obviously. We talked with the team as well, and then we talked with the agent. We asked Dave, can we back out on the deal and then play the
Ooh.
EWC? But
Ooh.
obviously the contract's been already signed apparently, and then we
Oof, this
cannot
is
back out
tough.
on the deal
This is tough.
because they'll be breaching the contract. And then breaching the
And
contract.
usually breaching like silly contracts are okay, but one where they give you so much backing, they literally put them in the front page of the game. They have social media made, you know, like that takes money, dude. To make like these graphics, whatever, that takes money. To code and put their faces in the game takes money. To code this whole system where people can vote for them, that takes money. There is damages if you don't do it. There is damages, bro. Like there's actually
Contract
damages.
is far more severe than what Munton has been threatening us with. So we had to proceed with the stream, and then that was the only.
But it seems like it seems the way he's saying is he wanted to back out of it and he just couldn't. So I guess I guess that sucks. That
valid
sucks.
move that we could
HOK
take.
was cool about it
And the
after,
team-
but I guess
team
they
knows
weren't
that
cool
as
about it
well,
before, you
so
know?
At that point, it was too late, and then we were just hoping on that Munton wouldn't take.
Yeah, I heard NA was done
Munton
no
wouldn't
matter what happened
go
after
this
this.
far to just basically ruin our career. But they did, and I feel super bad that I could not
Oof.
compete, and then I feel like taking the chances away from my teammates as well.
Yeah, he probably feels a little bit
So,
guilty too. Man, it's such a
I'm
bad
probably just
situation, bro.
gonna just split the sponsorship money with the team equally.
That's good. Damn,
I'm pretty sure
he did
Zane
not need to
would
do that.
too,
He did
'cause,
not need to
we
do that,
talked
bro.
about it together. So that's what we're gonna do.
Dude, why did...
And yeah, there's no
Bro, this is a situation where there's literally no winners. Who won from this, guys? Who won from this? Maybe HOK, maybe, you know? But
real
still,
winner in this
ay.
situation. That's why I really don't understand the whole thing about this, because M7 is NACT was basically
Oh,
canceled.
I guess the other team, the
And
second
then
place
this was
team won.
like, we've known this since months ago that this MSC and ACT is gonna be the last NACT, and then we were paid in diamonds for the tournaments that we flew.
Do we know
to
how many
Oklahoma
diamonds they got
together
at
for
least,
better
bro?
ping to play.
Imagine it's like you can't even buy
But,
good skins with it.
I'm just speechless about
was it at least a
this
lot
turned
of
out to be
tokens
this
or
way.
diamonds, bro?
but it's truly unfortunate. I just feel very sorry for everyone that expected us to do well, supported us. I'm sorry it happened this way.
Full switch, start full switching, bro. 50k diamonds? Does that buy anything? Clowns are trying to coordinate and play together. Y'all better be playing together in HOK. Because I'm banning everyone that plays MLBB
So
from now on.
boys, we're back. Most of you talk about AWC,
Oh, okay.
bans and whatnot. You know,
Who's
nothing
this
really
guy?
much to.
This is
really
one of the
say,
players?
other than us getting DQ'd. But I will say that it does feel like shit. Working
Damn.
hard for this, right? We worked for like what 3-4 months.
Damn.
Came all the way for
That's a
NSCT.
jungler? Oh,
Then we came all the way to the Philippines for this,
best player
just to
won.
find out we're getting
Oof.
DQ'd. Sent back home immediately
Wait,
too.
they won first place in the tournament and they only got $200 of diamonds? 4K? Wait, I'm getting some different numbers. They only got $200 of... They got $200 of fake money, not even real money, bro.
Right?
Oh my god.
It's kind of fucked, but at the end of the day, we don't really have any say in anything. They made their decision, whatnot. So that's where we're at. Getting sent home doesn't feel too good, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, nothing much we could do. I will say, as somebody who wanted to, really prove that NA wasn't weak, I really for me, this meta was so good for me. I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed it, right?
Gee, I know how this guy feels, bro. When you get banned, when the meta is really good for you, who knows how that feels, guys? Who knows? I definitely know how that feels, bro. All right, getting banned when Trevenant is good, Woo. Oh man, when Mammal Swine was good, okay. Oh my God, bruh.
Everything about the events that unfolded.
For the players that don't know, in my esport, guys, okay, that I was a pro in Pokemon Unite, I was banned in a year where the meta was good for me too. So I know how this clown feels.
We're truly unfortunate, to be completely honest with you guys. I did not expect this to happen at all, but it did, and it kind of hits hard. It is what it is, though. Nothing really much to say. I'm really tired. I'm flying back soon. As I'm making this video, I'm flying back in I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Damn, they don't even get to finish their Philippine trip, man.
Hope you guys,
Dude,
I appreciate you guys.
Dude, the sponsor paid for the trip. So since SAUL, got kicked out, they probably forced them to go back too. Damn, they didn't even get to enjoy. Dude, let them enjoy the Philippines, man.
BTK.
Let them enjoy the Philippines.
SAUL. I love y'all. Hope you guys support me and the team and what we do. Onwards. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
This has overall been a terrible experience, a waste of time.
I agree.
And a life-changing, cruel results of pure hard work.
You know what? You know what's going through their head? The same thing that was going through my head after I got banned from Unite. I'm like, why did I put all my eggs in one basket, bro? Especially putting it in a basket that doesn't care about me, that doesn't appreciate me. Why would I put my eggs in that basket? Why would I work for those guys for free? That's probably exactly how they're feeling right now. Why would I work for Mlbb, bro? Sure, my fans like watching me play Mlbb, but other than that, they don't like them. They don't appreciate them. Obviously, they don't appreciate them, bro. And it's like you're in an abusive relationship. You're just staying in an abusive relationship. It's like you like your girlfriend's mom, right? And then you stay in an abusive relationship just because you like her mom and family. You shouldn't do that, You should actually like your girlfriend, Hey, there you go.
I hope you continue.
He shouldn't just stay because of the mom,
Everyone involved.
Everyone should be happy.
Hoon,
me. And if her mom is cool, even after you break up, y'all still gonna be friends. Wait, why did you get banned from Unite? They never officially told me. The official rule was unsportsmanlike conduct, which is awesome too. When they ban you and they don't give you an official rule, that's awesome, because now all the fans and all the people can just make up whatever they want, bro. They just make up the crazy randomest shit and then pass it off. And then every time somewhere I see, someone asks, why did I get banned? Some know-it-all is gonna reply why did Phil get banned? He did XYZ, and they say the worst thing that's not even true, And then since Pokemon never gave me an official hey, you did this at this time, you said XYZ, you did XYZ, it leaves it up to interpretation. And when shit is left up to interpretation, people are just gonna let their imaginations run wild, bro. That's how humans are, That's how ghosts exist. People don't know what goes boom in the night. They're like, ooh, ghost did it, that's life.
Zia, Carlos, Shark, SAUL.
No, they probably they could probably switch to HOK, bro. If they get support from HOK, they can probably switch.
And all Moonton did was shake their asses in our face and not even give us one last chance to change the perspective.
That's too troll. That's too troll how he said that.
So with
Dude, Tencent would probably give them a contract and pay them.
Goodbye.
Tencent would probably give them a contract and pay them. Damn. That's brutal. Everyone loses, bro. Everyone loses. Everyone loses. Yeah, HOK has a huge opportunity right now. Damn. Damn, they lined them up. They lined them up in the comments, y'all.